friends, welcome back to Llama Mama Kayla's Yarn Tube. I'm Kayla. Thanks for stopping by and visiting today. I can go ahead and tell you it's going to be a little bit of a long video, so grab you a project, grab you a drink, and grab you a snack, because we're going to visit for a little while today, and I appreciate you coming by to visit with me. We've got over 40 questions. I can't remember exactly how many it was that I jotted down. About 47. So yeah, let's get on with it. I'm so excited. Y'all have some great questions. I love reading y'all's questions. And if you haven't been here and you're just clicking on this video and you're like, what are you talking about? This month I am doing a Q&A where people can ask questions in the video comment section below the video, and I'm answering them while I am crocheting on this rectangle sweetheart blanket that is growing and growing and growing, y'all. It is getting really big, and I'm just crocheting on this while we are chatting. I've done very little crocheting on it off camera, so I mean, you're really just keeping me going, and I love how much the blanket is growing in just that time that we're chatting. So I'm learning that you can build a blanket in about an hour a day for a month, and we're just going to keep going and see how this gets. So in this particular blanket, I started with the 3 granny squares, and I'm just going around. And at one point, after so many rounds of 1 row a piece, then I just started making up little balls so that my color is more random, because the color will not, you know, after the blanket gets so big, your skein of yarn is getting smaller and smaller, and it's not going to go all the way around. And I don't want to use up the whole skein of color at one time. So I've just been making these random balls of all the different colors, and I'm just adding those in. And so I did stop at this particular place. I could have got a little bit further, but I wanted to show some things and talk about just a little bit on here before I do jump into the questions. But I know that I have been crocheting fast. This is just a crochet and chat. It's not a tutorial, and I realize I'm crocheting fast, and that's hard to see what I'm doing or to follow along or something, you know. But I'm gonna talk about this as I'm doing it and slow down and show you this. And I'm also gonna leave some links in the description, right up under this video in the description box, if you open that box up, and of some tutorials where I'm slowed down and talking about what I'm doing and actually showing what I'm doing. So I know this video just goes fast. I'm crocheting as fast as I can, like my life depends on it, because that's what it does. This blanket depends on it. But I do apologize for that. I can really see how that would be frustrating. You're like trying to pay attention to what somebody's doing, and they're just crocheting like a mad woman. But I wanted to slow down right here on this little section and talk about a couple questions from different people. So somebody said they see me tie my yarn in, but they're asking, like, how are you getting to the next row? And I'm going to show you that here at the end. I've just been doing it fast and hadn't talked about it that much, so it's just been kind of overlooked. But yeah, I'm just tying my yarn in, and I do know there are ways. There's a Russian join, there's, you know, different kinds of joins that you can do where your yarn doesn't look like that. Okay, but I don't care that my yarn looks like that. I'm just trying to tie that yarn in and keep going. I want the homemade look. And some blankets I have made for my niece, my great niece. I had made her a blanket one time, and when I tied the yarns on in the back, I just left some of those so she would have something to doodle with, you know, rub her fingers with and stuff. And she likes that. On the back of her blanket is some strings left from when I tied them together. I just tied them, like, you know, 4 or 5 times together, and then just left the strings hanging there. And she likes that. And she's, you know, a baby. I mean, she's 3 now. So she likes that. And she just fidgets with them and stuff, you know. So a younger baby, a toddler, might like something like that. But, you know, to me, once this blanket is done and you flip it over to the back, I don't really see all that. So you can see my color did change to the gray. So, and I'll just crochet with this ball until that gray runs out. And then the next color is pink. And so, I'll have a pink ball. And I'll just start crocheting with that one. And I'm not, okay, so the person was asking that I'm tying my yarn in the middle of a row. I know, like, if you were going around and around, like, you know, a whole row with one color, you would join and then add your new color in. And I'm not doing that. I'm doing this, you know, a little different, more like a scrappy type project blanket. You know, you can do this with your balls of scrap yarn. It don't have to be any certain colors or anything. But I do want to show how I am joining and moving up to the next row. So that really is happening. I'm not just going around and around and not joining and moving up. I know that's just been overlooked because I hadn't said a lot about it. I mentioned it maybe a couple of times in a video here and there, but nothing consistent. So, yeah. And then I'm just gonna, as my colors run out, I'm gonna go to my yarn room and see if I have any colors that are about the same or very close tones of these, and just keep going. I'm gonna crochet on this blanket all month, unless it gets so big that it's way too long and way too wide. Then I'd have to call it quits, because it would just be ridiculous to have such an oversized blanket that, you know, was too big to even use or whatever. So, Miss Sassy, are you going to help me? This is Sassy. She is a rescue cat. We got her from the shelter, her and Sissy both. We got them from the shelter here in Ouachita Parish at the same time last January. So, we have had them a full year, and you'd think they've been here forever. Spoilt, spoilt, spoilt. And Sassy has been extra clingy today. I had to just sit and hold her for a little while today and couldn't do anything. So I did my last cluster of double crochets, and I'm just going to join in. Now I'll tell you, when I join, I never join to that chain 3. I always just go to the middle double crochet, the second one there. To me, I do that because I feel like if I join to that first one, it's kind of splayed a little bit. I join to that second one, I feel like it kind of tightens up the ship a little bit. So I join through that one. Now, I'm not saying that's the right way. That's just my way. So you do ever how you want to do it. You know, I'm never going to tell anybody like, oh, this is the right way to do it. This is how you crochet. It's not. There's not a right way or wrong way. So I just slip stitched over through those, and I didn't slip stitch 3 times because I skipped that first one. So I just slip stitched 2 times and then slip stitched into my corner and chain 3, and then I do my 2 double crochets and chain 2. And I go ahead and start turning my blanket since it's kind of biggish. And then I do, in that same hole, I'm doing my next 3 double crochets for the second part of that corner. And there it is, see? So now I jumped up for the next row. So can you see that? Whenever I come back around, all the way around, I'm coming up, then I just go into this corner and jump up for the next row. So that's what's happening. I know it was going really fast and you couldn't see all that, but that's what I'm doing. Trying to get my hook in the right place. So now I'm just crocheting around with this gray, ever how far it goes. I'm loving how it's turning out, and I feel like it's very pleasing to the eye, even though, you know, it is, the yarn runs out, I start another color, I mean, I feel like it's flowing nicely, so I'm happy with it. Well, guys, I want to tell y'all about Florence the finger. Yes, Dottie has named my finger Florence. And let me just tell you, Dottie, during the night, and this has happened with all 6 of my fingers that I've had amputated, they hurt like crazy. Whenever nerves are dying, it is very, very painful. I mean, it really is for nerves to be dying. And so last night was no different. I'd wake up during the night. My finger was just throbbing so bad. I would reach over to my nightstand and get the flashlight and turn it on and look at my finger to see if it had exploded. Because it was hurting so bad, it felt like it had busted. And I did that several times during the night. It was just so painful. And I lay there trying to go back to sleep. And I, you know, turn something on to get my mind busy so that I could fall back asleep. But, and then I'd wake back up with that finger just throbbing. It is really, really acting up. I took my white thing in yonder. I don't know if you can see much. If that helps you see, like, the redness of the finger around it, and also the discoloration here on this side. The finger itself feels like it is, not the whole finger, but this part up here, it feels like it is humongous. It's a little puffy, a little bit swollen, but it feels like it's like 10 times bigger than it really is. But yes, it is very painful. So I spent the night in a lot of pain. It kept waking up looking at it, and I've done that same exact thing with every finger, because nerves dying is painful. And so I got up this morning, I was just like, I think I'm gonna lose that finger. And Big Daddy's like, is it hurting? I'm like, you would not believe how bad it's hurting. Like, it is hurting. I'm just holding it together because what else can I do, you know? So I got on the computer and sent a message to my doctor. Now, my doctor works in a hospital. And so if you call up there, you get the main hospital. You don't call his office. You get the main hospital, and they send you to every wrong number they can possibly find before you would ever get in touch with your doctor. You're better off just going up there and going to your doctor's office and talking to the nurse themselves, if you can, or receptionist or whoever. And then, but anyway, so I just got on the computer and sent a message to my doctor. And I thought, okay, so I sent a message and said, I need an appointment. I have a finger trying to die. And I thought, you know, in hospitals and places like that, you know, they have a good turnover rate. I don't even know if he has the same nurse that he's had when I was there last or whatever, you know. So I thought to myself, and I told my friend Angela, I said, whoever reads that's going to be like, what? Finger trying to die? What does that mean? I said, but hopefully they will go tell him, and he will know exactly what is going on and what I'm saying, and he'll, you know, get me on in. Because they are known for your appointment being weeks, if not months away. like I asked Angela, I said, when do you think I'll get an appointment for? And she said, oh, like August. That is no joke. That really could happen. That really could. Sometimes, I go to the doctor and they'll be like, okay, well, like when I was having a certain issue, and then they were like, well, come back, and they gave me a date and said, and we'll do a CAT scan then. And so I felt like they said, well, come back if you're still alive, come back next month and we'll do a CAT scan. And then if you're still alive when we get the results from that, come back to the office and we'll go over the results with you. And then, it's a long, drawn out process. And I always feel like, well, are they, they don't say if you're still alive. I'm saying that. But they give you this appointment that's like 2 months away. Like, well, if you're still alive in 2 months, come see us. That's the way I always feel, and that's the way I say it. And I said that to my doctor before, and he was like, one time I went to him for a visit, and he said, well, have you seen anybody for that? And I told him, and I said, they said if I'm still alive in 2 months to come back and get a CAT scan. And he said, let's just speed up that process and go on to the ER right now. And so he sent me to the ER right then. So, yeah, that's the way it is. But anyway, so it wasn't like, 15 minutes later, I got a message that I have an appointment with the doctor tomorrow at 2 o'clock. So he got me right on in. The nurse probably must have went to him and said, what is this woman talking about? Her finger's trying to die. And so anyway, he's getting me in tomorrow at 2. So, and I've had the same doctor, gosh, since Dakota was in high school. Since Dakota was in high school at some point, and Dakota's 32 years old. So I've been seeing this doctor for a long time. He knows me. He knows my personality. We joke with each other. He introduced me one day to someone and said, this is Miss Miller. She's the bane. She's the bane existence of my practice or something like that. And sometimes he comes in with a student doctor or something, and he's like, and now we reach my problem child. And he'll tell the student doctor or whatever, whoever's shadowing him or something, like all kinds of things about me. And he's laughing, I'm laughing, and yeah. But we get it. He gets me and I get him, and I appreciate him, bringing a little laughter to the situation. Because if you can't laugh, you're in some serious trouble then. But anyway, so I will be going in tomorrow to see him. Big Daddy's going to go to work in the morning and leave at lunch to come home and get me. And off to the hospital we will go. And I'm going to tell him that I'm willing to try Botox again. We did Botox with this finger, and it helped on the day I got Botox, but the next day, like, the Botox had wore off and was gone or something. It only helped for a short period. It didn't help for, like, days and days. And I got Botox on that finger probably about 3 times. I can't really remember exactly, but I did several times. I know it was more than once. Probably more than twice. I think it was about 3 times that I got that Botox in that finger. So I'm going to tell him that I'm willing to try the Botox again. Not that it helped before. You see I don't have that finger. But, I don't want to lose this finger, guys. I don't want to lose that finger. It's going to be life-changing to lose that finger. I'll adjust and use my pinky just like I did on this hand. I used that pinky like it was my pointer finger, you know, so I'll adjust and use it like that, but it's just hard knowing that finger. And I've had some issues with this finger for a while. It is dry and scaly, and just no lotion or anything has helped it. But yeah, I'm you know, I want to do whatever we can to try to save it before I see the orthopedic doctor, because all he can do is just cut it off. I mean, he can't do anything to try to save it. He can just cut it off. And so before I see my orthopedic doctor, I want to try to do anything we can. And I'm taking, you know, we dusted my meds from when I saw the doctor last Wednesday. So I'm doing all that, and boy, is it hard. It is hard, you know, being sick from medications, because when you're taking high doses of certain medications like the Viagra, when you take that 3 times a day, high doses of it, it's hard to function. It is. So, saying all that to say, I'm going to the doctor again with my finger tomorrow. And I went to the rheumatologist in Shreveport with my finger last Wednesday. And so I'm seeing my primary care doctor, but he also does a rheumatology clinic here in Monroe. So he's just getting me in tomorrow. I don't know exactly what clinic he's working in tomorrow, but he'll get me in. He's got me in for 2 o'clock. One time with that, I mean, he'll get me in no matter what clinic he's working in. One time he was in oncology, and I had issues with this finger, and I let him know. Somehow or another, I was able to get a message. Oh, and through a nurse, I was able to get a message through to him, because I had an appointment, but it wasn't for like another month. And he got me on in. He was working oncology that day, but he got me on in to come to the oncology department. So I'll have to look back and see exactly what department he is working in tomorrow. But anyway, just rambling to say he is a good doctor, and he will try anything and do anything, you know, to try to help me. Now, he might not think the Botox is worth trying. Botox shots are painful. Like, I don't know how people do that in their face, like in their lips and places around their face. I don't know how people do that, because it is painful. Botox shots, I mean, that stuff is thick. So they have to use a larger needle for that thick liquid to go through. And it's just, it's painful. It is. And if he does do that route, I am going to say, can we get some little shots to deaden it before we do that? And I don't remember if we did that before or not, or if it was we didn't want to deaden it because it could cause more issues. I can't remember, but we'll figure it out. Okay, so I done spent like 23 minutes talking about Florence here. Thank you, Dottie, for naming my finger. Also, I do want to mention that it is officially 3 years now that I've had a feeding tube. And I just saw that today. I saw something that reminded me of that this time 3 years ago, I had just had feeding tube surgery, and that was an ordeal itself, but I finally got straightened out. Ended up in a nursing home 3 years ago. But anyway, let's just go on and jump into the questions. Somebody said that prednisone gave them type 2 diabetes. Yes, it sure can mess you up. Prednisone is not a great drug. I have been on and off of prednisone for many, many years. At one point, I was on like 60 milligrams of prednisone a day for about 5 years straight. I could not get off of it. I finally got off of it at one point and vowed that I would never get on it again. And guess what? Sometimes you just need relief. Sometimes when it gets so bad, you do anything to get relief. And prednisone is the only thing that gives you relief. You get back on prednisone. So I am on 40 milligrams of prednisone a day. And I have a love-hate relationship with prednisone. But it has not caused me to have diabetes. My A1C is 4. And my doctor does keep a check on that. And it's 4. Everybody always wants to make me a diabetic, but the numbers just won't play right for them. So, I'm not. Okay, so someone was telling me that the granny stitch, they had just learned that the granny stitch is also called the Van Dyke stitch. Now, I've never heard that before. Some of you may have, but I wanted to share what she learned. The Van Dyke stitch. Now, I've heard it called the granny cluster or granny shell or just granny stitch, but never have I heard it called the Van Dyke stitch. So, that's interesting. That's interesting, and some of you might have already known that. And she didn't say where she picked it up from, but it doesn't matter. But anyway, I'm sure if you want to know more about that, you could Google. Google is our friend. Although my friend Angela, I kept asking her different questions about stuff. And she's like, hold on, let me Google this since you have seemed to have forgotten how. But I'm crocheting and talking, and she's just sitting there and talking, so she can Google while I'm crocheting. That's what I feel like. Oh, goodness. Anyway, so someone asked, am I putting a sweetheart border on this, a border on the sweetheart blanket? I really just don't know at this point. Maybe so, and maybe it would be with the dark gray that I had pulled out on the first video and didn't use because I felt like it was too dark. So maybe that would be a border. I don't know for sure. You know, I'm just winging it. Whatever happens, happens, and the end of the month, we'll just see how that plays out. But yeah, I'm just no rules. I have no idea just yet, but we'll figure it out. I mean, you know, anybody can do whatever they want to do with any blanket they're doing. I just don't know what I'm doing at the moment. You know, somebody might already planned out their border and all, but if I do, I would do that darker gray. Maybe, I don't know, just depends. I don't know. I'm not gonna worry about that just yet. But I am enjoying working on this blanket and chatting with you guys. So don't forget to leave me a question in the section, in the comments below, and we'll see if we can answer them. Let's see. Oh, I do use bobby pins as safety, as bobby pins as stitch markers. I lost my word. I do use bobby pins. I have some, but they were at my other desk, and I didn't want to get up to go get them, and so I just used what I had available right here. But it would have been easier if I had used those stitch markers. And this was actually a comment on a duck blanket that I am making for Big Daddy's coworker's grandbaby. So, I know I showed you guys that I had started trying to make a baby blanket with this yarn that Big Daddy wanted me to make it with. But I only have 3 balls of this, and so that's not going to be big enough because it's 72 yards. That's not going to be big enough to make a blanket. 72 yards is not going to go very far. So I didn't like the way it worked up. I needed to use a 12mm hook, and I needed more yarn of this. So I just decided not to do that. And then talking with him, and I do have a video. This is the third video I put out today, okay? I put out one with Patina with her Valentine's Happy Mail, and I put out a crochet duck face blanket. And so just to give you a little sneak peek, I'm not going to tell a bunch of details about it, but I'm making this video. I'm making this blanket for Big Daddy's co-worker's grandbaby. So there's a video on it. So you can go to my channel and look. It's the crochet duck face blanket. And so I had used some stitch markers when I was doing something on that blanket in the video, and that's why she was saying, and I was struggling with the stitch markers because it hurt to try to push with this finger. I was trying to push like with this part of the finger instead of down here, and I was struggling. So she mentioned the bobby pins, and I do use bobby pins. I just didn't have any in here readily. They were at my other desk. I need to cake all the stuff. No. See, she's just wanting me to hold her. Sassy. What is it, Sassy girl? I was gonna say, I need to take half my stuff in here and take it to that desk and bring half my stuff at that desk into here. Sassy, you're okay. You're okay. I'm just trying to get my yarn out from under you. You can lay there if you lay there and be still. Don't bite me. No. No. She's wanting me to pet her is what she wants. There you go. You're good. You're good. She's so big. She takes up a lot of the desk. She's so big and Sassy so little. Okay, so anyway. Oh, well, Sassy come at the right time. Someone asked about that they don't have a pet, but they were thinking about maybe getting a rescue cat or a rescue dog or maybe both. They don't know. So I thought maybe me and you as commenters might could give her your thoughts and tips on a cat or a dog. Which would you which would you get? Sassy, no. I'm gonna have to put you down if you don't get over there and lay down. No. Okay, so I don't know. Cats are easy. You don't really have to tend to a cat. They kind of tend to themselves. And that's a good thing. I mean, they can go potty. You just have to clean their litter box. And, you have to get the litter that's easiest for you. I can't use that litter that turns to concrete. So I use pellets. But cats tend to themselves. You just have to fill up their bowls, water and food. And they'll go potty on their own. And cats, I think cats are the easiest if you're looking for easy, other than the litter box. That can be, an ordeal if you aren't using something that's easy for you. But now they make all kinds of machines and stuff. Now, I don't have that, but I do use the pellet litter, and it is so easy to scoop. And I get that from Chewy. If you're interested in that, you can just look up on Chewy the pellet litter. And I have 2 of those systems that they recommend for that litter. And it does have a pee pad drawer under it. And you just pull that drawer out, change the pee pad, scoop the litter, scoop the poop out of the pellets. And them pellets last a long time. I think they say maybe a month, but they'll last 2 to 2.5, 3 months if you keep it, scooped. Okay, so then a dog. I love dogs. I'm a dog person. Now, I've always said I'm a dog person and not a cat person. But I will tell you this, dogs, you gotta let them out. And depending, I don't know your housing situation, if you have a yard or what, but you gotta keep an eye on them while they're outside too. And you have to let them out to potty or they'll want potty in the house, because you gotta go. And also, dogs bark. You have to decide if barking is something that gets on your nerves or not. Small dogs are yappy. Bigger dogs are usually not yappy. They'll bark when they hear or see something, but they're usually not just yappy. Small dogs seem to just like to bark. Whether they see or hear something, they just think that's a fun thing to do. And I'm a small dog person, okay? So, anyway, yeah, I mean, there's pros and cons to both. You just have to decide which is best for you or easiest for you, at your age or your living situation or whatever, what would work best. But I tell you what, I love these cats, and I love my Phoebe. Now, Phoebe's my baby girl. But I do love these cats, and I just can't imagine life without them. Alright, somebody was saying that they, have done cross stitch, and they were talking about cross stitch and stuff. I've never done cross stitch, like such as a cross stitch pattern. What I've done was just kind of freestyle embroidery. My son Dakota cross stitches. I say that, I don't know when the last time he actually did cross stitch, but I think he prefers freestyle embroidery also. But I've done, the embroidery, but not cross stitch. I can't really see the little squares well enough to be able to do that. I've had eye issues, like a long time. When I was a little kid, probably when I was about 8 years old, 8 or 9 maybe, I was at this woman's house, and this 18-year-old boy, I don't know why he was there, but he came over to her house. He didn't live there. And he took me by the hair of the head and beat my face on an iron chair. Those old iron chairs that people used to have out in the yard and on the porch and all. And he was being mean to me, and I hollered out to call that lady to tell her what he was being mean to me, and he jumped up and grabbed me by the hair of the head and beat my face on a chair. My face looked like hamburger meat, okay? It was bad. And I've had bad vision since then. Anyway, just, something that happened, and I do have bad vision. I believe it is from that. Yes, a ocarina. In one of the previous videos, I was talking about my son, Elijah, can play any musical instrument that he picks up and, gives it a go. And I said that there's one he could play, and I said it's kind of like a flute. Maybe it's from Zelda, the movie Zelda or something. I don't know. I couldn't think of the name of it. It's an ocarina. You're exactly right. Yep. He got one. I don't know. I don't know. I think he got one for his birthday or something one year. Because he asked for it. I was like, what is that? I didn't even know. I got it for him, and it was a weird looking thing. I was like, what is that, a nose flute? And he just started blowing on it and playing around on it, and till he was playing out some little tunes, you know. He can almost pick up an instrument and play out the, like, just spend a few seconds on it and then play out the Star Wars theme music on just about any instrument he picks up. I mean, I hadn't seen him not be able to do it yet. Oh, let's see. Oh, someone said, y'all are so sweet. Y'all say the sweetest things. Someone said that they played my video at night one night to calm down and be able to go to sleep. And that is just the most touching, sweetest thing. Really and truly, to know that I helped you calm down and be able to go to sleep. But I'm like that. I have to listen to something, like I have to turn a show on my tablet to give my brain something to focus on, because otherwise my brain is zooming all over the place. I'm thinking about this, thinking about that. I need to do this, I need to do that. And just my brain is just zooming everywhere. And I can't go to sleep because my brain won't turn off. So I have to turn on my tablet and turn on some show or movie or something to give my brain something to focus on, so it will calm down and go to sleep. So I get what you're saying. I get it. But yeah, I do that every night. I have to turn it on so my brain can go to sleep. If I don't, I just lay there thinking about everything that's not important. Yeah, and I think of everything, like whatever I couldn't think of that day, it all comes to me in the middle of the night if I'm just laying there. So yeah. Oh, the Super Bowl. Somebody asked me about the Super Bowl and how it got its name, or why they call it the Super Bowl. I have no idea. I'm just not into that. I barely even knew it was the Super Bowl Sunday, okay? I only knew that because I heard somebody say it. I think Angela said it. So that's the only reason why I even knew it was Super Bowl Sunday. And yes, it has become a Swiftie. The Swiftie fans are taking over football, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a Swiftie, but I do like some of Taylor Swift's songs. But I wouldn't call myself a Swiftie. But it does look like a lot of Swifties are now watching football. So that's good for the NFL, I guess, that Taylor come along, and I can't even think of who her boyfriend is. I don't even know his name. But anyway, not important. It doesn't affect my life one way or another. Things like that really doesn't affect my life. I just feel like I have no need to know them. I have no need to have that take up space in my brain, because it's not going to affect my life at all. Oh, so somebody asked about snakes. Yes, we have snakes in Louisiana. Now, they're just not out like chasing us and trying to get us or anything like that, but there are snakes, and if you step on one, it's gonna bite you. My son Dakota got bit by a snake. I want to say his 10th, when he was in 10th grade. We had, we were getting ready to start school, and so I spent a whole day cleaning the house. We cleaned the house room to room, top to bottom, got everything ready for school, the house clean and organized, and did all that. The next day, we spent the whole day outside cleaning the yard, just doing everything we needed to do out there, just to, have stuff done, so that we didn't have all this stuff, I didn't have all the stuff on my conscience that needed to be done. And then that night we came in, it was dark. We came in about dusk, and so everybody started getting their baths, and Dakota had not got his bath yet. I don't remember who had gotten baths or what, but we were all, you know, getting baths and stuff like that. And I had an item here on my desk that needed to go to the van so I could return it to Walmart next time we went to town. And Dakota needed to walk his dog, Pedro, at the time. And so he took Pedro out, and he was going to walk down to the van at the end of the house and put this item, whatever it was, in the van. He goes out, and I swear he didn't have time to get off the doorsteps, and he was opening the door coming back in, and he was like just stuttering and just trying to get it out, and he was just like, he said, I stepped on a stick and it bit me. And I was like, what? And I looked down at his leg and it was bleeding. I said, come here, sit down. And I started hollering for Jody, and I wiped the blood away, and I could see the teeth marks wrapped around his leg. Like if this was his leg, it was teeth marks here and teeth marks here. So it opened its mouth and grabbed his leg. So Jody came in here and looked. He went outside. He saw the snake. He beat the snake to death and killed it. He come back in and got a gun, went out there and shot the snake. And he said, y'all need to get your stuff together and let's go to the hospital, but stay calm, because we don't want Dakota to get too excited, because we don't want his blood pumping faster than it, you know. We don't want him to get too excited. We want to keep him calm. So now I had Elijah, who was tube fed and due for a feeding, and we just had a lot. And we're filthy, okay? We had worked outside in the yard all day. We were filthy. I think Big Daddy had got his bath already. Maybe Elijah had also. Or I think Elijah was in the tub at the time, actually. So we get dressed. I'm gathering up everything I'm going to need for Elijah at the time, you know, and we head off to the hospital. We called ahead of time and let them know we were coming, but they didn't seem to care. And this was a different hospital than I use now. This hospital I'm speaking of now is actually closed down. But we made it there, and finally they got us back. It was that's a story in itself too. But anyway, Dakota ended up being put in ICU. Maybe it was PICU. I think it was pediatric, even though he was 10th grade teenager. But anyway, he was put in the ICU unit, and he was given antivenom. I mean, one right after another. They were giving him antivenom. His leg was swelling and swelling and swelling, and the doctor came in one night and he said, if the swelling doesn't start going down, we're just got to cut his leg open and just let it open. Like he was talking about just splitting his leg and just letting it lay open. Whew, talk about some praying. But the next morning, it started going down, and they were measuring his leg every hour. They were doing his temperature and measuring his leg every hour on the hour. And the next morning, it started going down, the swelling. I was ever so thankful. But it healed up really good. I don't even know. I hadn't looked at his leg in years, but I don't even know if you can tell that it was there now or not. But he survived it. It was a copperhead, by the way. And a copperhead is not the most... Big Daddy had looked all this up while we were doing all this. But a copperhead is not the most venomous, but it's one of the most painful for our area. I mean, I don't know about India or wherever, you know, they might have cobras and stuff like that. I'm talking about for Louisiana. So It was very painful for Dakota. Very, very painful. And he spent about a week in the hospital. So we were delayed starting school and all that kind of good stuff because of a snake bite. So, yep. That was a long story. Alright, so let's see. Somebody asked, when did I start this channel? Well, a long time ago. I don't know how many years it's been, but it was a long time ago. Dakota, that's my son, if you don't know, Elijah and Dakota are my sons. They're mine and Big Daddy's sons. But, he wanted me to start a homeschool YouTube channel and show stuff that we were doing for homeschooling and unit studies and lap books and all this kind of stuff. He wanted me to do a YouTube channel of that. And I was just like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't have time to do that. You know, I mean, it was not an interest of mine. He forced me to do a couple of videos, and they're out there. They're the first videos on this channel. They're called lap book something or another. So it'll be, if you want to search that, just search lap book. And it's probably about 4 or 5, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 videos out there on my channel, lap books. Anyway, I've left those there just because they might be helpful to someone searching for lap books in the homeschool community. But anyway, he tried to force me to do one. He set up the channel. I don't even remember what the name of it was or anything. And he made me record. He recorded me showing these videos. And then I was just like, I'm never going to do this. Like, I just didn't have interest in doing it. So nothing was done with this channel for many years. And then one day I decided, or he actually, again, was like, why don't you do a YouTube video channel with, you know, with your yarn and stuff. I think I was loom knitting then. And so he kind of talked me into it. And I was kind of giving in to the idea anyway, because I was watching some YouTubers and stuff along that time also. So he and Elijah talked me into it. And then they thought up the name Llama And so we went from there, started the channel. But yeah, that's how this channel came about. Or that's how long I've had one, is I don't know. A long time. Oh, somebody said they've had a poodle for 17 years this month. Wow. That is really a long life for a dog. 17 years. I think the longest dog I've had living is about 11 years. I'm pretty sure. Dakota's Taco lived for 12. I have a question for Mitzi, M-I-T-Z-I. Do I know you? Sometimes you say things and I'm like, do I know her? Like, seriously, do I know you? I don't know. Please tell me if we do know each other. Sometimes people's, you know, YouTube channel name or handle or name or something like that, you know, might not be their name, and I might not catch who that is or something. But yeah, I don't know if I know you or not. But sometimes you say things and I'm like, do I know her? I don't know. So let me know. Someone asked about my address. How can they send me a card? My address is in the description box. If you just scroll down, open the little box under the video and scroll down, my address is down there. But please don't feel obligated to send a card. I mean, oh, I'll cherish it, no doubt, but I just don't want anyone to feel obligated to send a card or anything like that, please. But anyway, moving on along. Okay, so someone else was asking about Patina, my poodle dog. Yes, she is, she was made in 1966 in Japan by Hasbro. And I think I have Patina right here. Let me see. Oh, yep, there she is. Okay, so this is Patina with her basketball purse. If you saw me open those, I think that basketball purse was just cute. And then she has on a little scarf. And anyway, this is Patina. She's a poodle dog. She was born in 1966. And so they were asking about her birthday month. Well, we don't know for sure. We just know she was made in 1966. And so we, as a Patina collector group, together, we decided that we would celebrate her birthday in January. So that's what we did. We celebrated her birthday in January, and she is 58 years old. And she's really, really cute. And so you can see she has some smushy hair. And sometimes I'll take her hair, and now I have known people who have, you know, had a patina, and then they've washed her hair and it's just melted right in front of their eyes. So I don't wash it, but I will pick it sometimes like this to kind of fluff it up, and I just do that real easily, trying to just puff it up just a little bit. But I really am, you know, treat her delicately, because she is delicate. But yeah, there's Patina with her her basketball purse and her scarf on, and her pants with a pink leg and a white leg, and you can see some of her Q-tip tail there. Sometimes I just tuck it under. Anyway, let's see. Becky, thank you, Becky, for just always being here and always commenting here and on Instagram. And I know you're always there, Becky, and I appreciate it. And I know you have health issues of your own also. Oh, sometimes it sucks getting old, doesn't it? And I know you're older than me, so I can't even imagine, but thank you, Becky. Let's see. Oh, Big Daddy. So somebody wanted to know, how did Big Daddy get his name, Big Daddy? I don't really know. He's been called that for probably, I was trying to think, at least 30 years. Maybe 31. But at least 30 years he's been nicknamed Big Daddy. And so that did happen probably when he worked in the plant. You know how men are. They call each other all kinds of names. At least he got a decent name. I know there was one guy they worked with. His name was Hot Dog. And he had 13 children. And they called him Hot Dog. So at least Big Daddy got a decent nickname. Could have been worse. But everybody just calls him Big Daddy. I mean, lots of people that we know. I mean, some people don't, and some people do. It just, I guess, kind of depends on them if they want to call him that or not. It doesn't matter to us. But I just refer to him as Big Daddy on the videos. I mean, like in real life, I don't really say, hey, Big Daddy. Sometimes I do, but not like out in town in public and stuff. And Elijah's red hair. Okay, he did get that from Jody's side of the family. Jody's dad had red hair as a young boy. And so Elijah was born with red hair. And his hair has darkened over the years. It's not as bright and a pretty red as it was. Now it's more of a brown red. But anyway, I am partial to redheads. I love a redhead. whenever I get, whenever I'm getting a new doll, say like at Walmart, if they had like the My Life as dolls, or, I always look to see if they have the doll in a red head. I need to wind up some yarn. I don't even know what I was doing. I was trying to make a slip knot. I need to wind up some yarn. So this is how I do it. I just roll it around some fingers, and then I'm not going to do that tight on my finger because I don't want it to. Anyway. And I just roll it that way for a while, and then I'll turn it and roll it this way for a little while, and it starts, you know, forming up a little ball. And so then I'll just turn it some. That's hard to do with my finger. And then I'll just keep kind of rotating it a little bit. And I'll just roll it and okay, so then someone asked about, I don't know, I didn't really understand this question. I don't think I understood what you were trying to ask. And it's probably just me. But someone asked, issues with new feeding tubes. Are you asking if I get a new feeding tube, do I have issues with it? Or new types of feeding tubes that they have? I didn't really catch that. But I get a new feeding tube. I think I get 2 a year now. And so I got a new one a couple months back, so I don't know when I'm due for another new one, but still I don't really understand what you're asking. I'm not grasping it. And then someone said that stomach acid is no joke, and that is the honest truth. Stomach acid is no joke. And they were talking about they threw up so much that their tonsils were gone, and the doctor thought she had had her tonsils removed, and her mom was there and said no, she's not had her tonsils removed. So it was a stomach acid. But yes, along with my health issues, diseases, medications, and throwing up, and stomach acid being in contact with my teeth, it destroyed my teeth. So stomach acid leaks out around my stoma onto my stomach, my abdomen, and I tell you what, that stuff eats your skin away. Like, it will eat your skin, okay? It's no joke. Yes, it will. It eats your skin right up. So stomach acid is no joke, for sure. And I'm going to about call it about there. Oops, Sassy. Okay, I'm about to fall off my table here because Sassy's taking up all my desk. Anyway, somebody asked about the movie Waterboy. Oh my gosh. Big Daddy's watched that movie so many times, and he quotes it all the time. He is always quoting Waterboy. That is the goofiest, stupid movie. But he really does just quote that all the time. He's so silly. Anyway. I like comedy, but I don't like slapstick comedy. I mean, I like comedy, but I like for my comedy to make sense. To me, Waterboy don't make any sense. But yeah, Big Daddy loves that movie. He'd watch it right now if it come on. Oh, and somebody said you don't write down their projects. You know, because I said in the other video that I used to, but I gotten out of the habit and hadn't got back in it. But, yes, I use Instagram. I'll post a picture of my projects on Instagram. And that way, at the end of the year, I can roll back through Instagram and see what all I made in the year. So I do use Instagram for that purpose. Sassy, what are you looking at? Okay, so somebody asked about my pain pump. Won't it help with the pain in my finger? You would think so. And it took me a little while to figure this out too. I mean, the doctor had to explain things to me. Even though I was getting a pump, got a pump or whatever, I didn't fully just understand that. Okay, so my pump is in my abdomen, on the front of my abdomen, and there's tubes that run around under the skin to my spine. Okay, so they place those tubes in certain vertebrae to help certain areas. The medicine is targeted to your pain. Now, since I have full body chronic pain, I don't know exactly how that's going to work. But they target it towards whatever your pain is. It depends on where they place that in your back. So it's not targeted to my finger. It's targeted probably to joint pain and muscle pain and stuff like that. So that pain pump's not going to help my finger. But yes, that's kind of hard to understand. And it's just, you know, it's interesting and it's all new to me for sure. But anyway, let's see. Someone said, oh, Mitzi, this is the reason why I wonder, do I know you? She said that the Duck Dynasty Church is the nicest church she has ever seen. It is. It is a beautiful church. They have really done a lot in that church, and like the kids wing and the nursery area. I mean, that is all just decorated so awesome, and it is a very nice church. We used that church for Elijah's high school graduation. Yes, Elijah graduated high school there. We used that church, and it was a very nice church. Just a lovely church. So yes, I agree with you. Probably one of our nicest. I'm not going to say the nicest, but probably one of our nicest churches we have here in the Twin Cities. But let's see, going on down the line, somebody asked about alligators. They asked, have you really have alligators? We really do have alligators here. Now, I have not seen one like in my front yard, but Big Daddy did see one and took a picture of it, of an alligator at the end of our driveway one time when he was coming home from work. So they're out here, you know, but they're not just like trying to attack us or get us or anything like that. They're just as scared of us as we are of them. So yeah. They're here, but they're hidden. They're not just out laying out in the front yard. Not yet, anyway. Let's see. Yeah, someone said they laughed when I said that Big Daddy had tucked me in to go lay down. But yes, he does tuck me in, even if I'm just going to take a nap, like on the weekends or something, or even in the early evenings. If I go lay down to take a nap, he comes and tucks me in and covers me up and makes sure I have everything and my phones plugged up to charge and all that kind of stuff. So, yes, I know that probably did sound funny to people, but yep. He'll say, "You want me to tuck you in?" Or he'll just come and say, "I'll tuck you in." But yeah, he's a good man. Oh, let's see. Mardi Gras. Okay, we have several Mardi Gras parades here. We've had two weekends, 2 in a row, and it rained both weekends. So we did not go. I wanted to go just to record some for y'all, but it was raining, and so I'm not standing out in the rain, and we didn't go. But we used to go, and we'd take the kids. It's a family event, great family atmosphere. We'd meet friends, take chairs, and everybody bring snack foods and drinks and such, and we would just sit out there and wait for the parade. We'd be there hours before the parade would come, and just sit out there and enjoy. And the kids running around would block off a little area for them to run around and play. So everybody's kids would just bring toys to share and stuff, and they would play and have a good time. The parents would just visit and hang out till the parade started. And then when the parade started coming, we would, get up and put our chairs away and coolers and all that kind of stuff and clean up our mess to get ready for the parade to actually get down to us. But we'd be able to see them a long ways before they actually got to us. So it was a fun time. Good memories. And Dakota's birthday is February the 20th. And a lot of years, for some reason, it does fall at his birthday. Lots of times it has fell on the 20th. And so I do remember one time, I was like, "Oh, I thank Monroe City for throwing Dakota a big old birthday party last night," which was the Mardi Gras parade, but we'd have a good time. Let's see. Somebody asked if I talk to my hands. Probably. I don't know. Can I plead the fifth? I do tell them, you need to cooperate. You know what I'm trying to do. Come on. But, not really. But yeah, I might say something sometimes like, "Come on, you help me out here." Let's see. Health issues. Okay, so someone was saying that healthy people who do not have health issues do not understand health issues. And I completely agree with that. And I don't think it's no fault of their own. They just don't experience what we experience, and so they just don't know. You know what I'm saying? You can't understand something unless you experience it. So, no fault of their own, but if you don't have health issues, then you really just don't understand how crippling and life-changing health issues can be. But I will say this. I'm not saying all of them. I'm not saying all healthy people, but I have met some healthy people who do not understand health issues, and for some reason, they want to blame your health issues on you. Like it's your fault you have these health issues. Like, it's my fault I have Raynaud's. It's my fault I have scleroderma. It's my fault I have lupus. I've met those people before, and I'm just like, you're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about, so move along. But yes, usually I'm not saying all healthy people, but I've come across healthy people who don't understand health issues, and they immediately want to blame you for your health issues. But I've come across people like religious people who will blame you if you have health issues because you don't have enough faith to be healed, or you didn't do this right, and you did this wrong, and you didn't hold your mouth exactly right while you were praying and to get a healing and all this. So yes, I mean, there's people out there who have their thoughts and they want to blame you for you having health issues, and that is no fun. And I tend to stay away from people like that because they don't know what they're talking about. Okay. And I have enough going on in my life than to deal with people who think that way. You know, I have enough stress, enough issues going on that I don't need other people's issues too. Right? You mean, you get what I'm saying, don't you? So yes, I do steer away from that. But you're so right. Let's see. Somebody said, somebody asked, do I have to charge my pump in my abdomen? That is a really good question. As far as I know, I don't. I mean, I don't know. I hadn't even thought about that. I have to charge my phone device that goes to my pump and my receiver device that goes to my pump. Now, I do have to charge those because they, you know, it's just like a cell phone. It runs down. And the other device thing runs down. So I have to charge those. But I don't know about inside my stomach. I don't know how long that's supposed to last. Or what. I'll have to ask the doctor about that. If that's something that ever needs charging or what. But so far, no. No, I'll get a refill. At some point, I'll go in and they'll refill my medication in my pump. And that, they just stick a needle into this little area and fill it with the medication. And I'll ask about that whenever I do, because that is a good question. I don't know. Somebody asked about if I've, ever thought about getting finger prosthetics. No, I haven't. In the past, I felt like it would just be something in the way because I was doing what I wanted to do anyway. I felt like it would just be something in the way and more trouble than it was worth. But that might be something that I have to look at in the future. Sweet little Zeke, he saved up money. We pay him for helping us, and he saved up his money and bought a $200 3D printer. And he said he wanted to figure out how to print me some fingers. Now, I don't know how I would use those fingers if he printed them, or I don't know how that would work. But that was a sweet thought anyway, right? It was sweet of him to even think that, but I don't know how that would actually work. Somebody asked, was I sick while I was pregnant with Elijah? No. I had a pretty good pregnancy with him. Dakota, I was sick as a dog, in and out of the hospital continuously the whole time I was pregnant with him. In and out of the hospital. With Elijah, was an easy pregnancy, so I wasn't sick with him. And they were asking more like, did I have some kind of virus? Because I think they're thinking maybe that's what caused him to be sick, but no. I didn't have anything going on when I was pregnant with Elijah. Tornadoes. Yes, we had tornadoes supposedly yesterday on Sunday. I don't know. It didn't affect us. I don't know, but we were under tornado. I don't know if it was under a watch or a warning. But there was talk of tornadoes, but I don't think anything touched down anywhere near me. I haven't heard anything, which I live under a rock. I don't know a lot of stuff unless Big Daddy tells me or one of my kids tell me or Angela tells me. Otherwise, I don't know what's going on. I'm just busy doing my own thing here, crocheting along. Let's see. Somebody asked if I had met famous people before. I don't think so. I can't recall anyone famous that I've met. And people who I do know that, I mean, I guess there's people that some people might think are famous. The Duck Dynasty people, do y'all think they're famous? Miss Kay used to come and shop my thrift store all the time. She would bring all them grandkids in there and they would run wild. And Miss Kay would buy books and toys and stuff from my thrift store. And so I don't know if you consider them famous or not. Also, years ago, oh gosh, many years ago, when Elijah was pretty little, the show Survivor, where they go out on some kind of island or something and they, you know, try to survive. Clay, a man named Clay here from Monroe, was on there. And he also had a restaurant here, and so we ate at his restaurant. We'd eat breakfast at his restaurant sometimes. And so we did get to know him. He would always chat with us, and then he did like some library events, and we used to go to all the library stuff as homeschoolers. That was part of our curriculum, was doing whatever the library was offering. And then one night we, as a homeschool group, we had a chili cook-off where, you know, everybody, not everybody, but whoever wanted to, made pots of chili. And then we had some different ones we asked to be judges and judge the chili. So I asked Clay if he could come and be a judge at our homeschool chili contest, and he did. He came, and that was very nice of him to come and be a judge in our chili cook-off. So I don't know if you would consider him famous or not. He was on Survivor for ever how long he was on there. Was he like the... He didn't win, but I think he might have been like the next to the last person to stay. He was in the top 3, I believe. Because we had a big deal in our town. And one of the big hotels actually had a screening of that last show to see who actually won. And Clay was still in it because we didn't know if he was going to win or not, of course. And so we went to the hotel, me and my sister and oldest niece, and maybe Dakota went. We all went and to the hotel that night and watched the last episode and had a big party. I mean, it was a kid-friendly party thing, very family-oriented thing we went to. Okay, so somebody's asked about me and Big Daddy dating. How did we start dating? Okay, here it goes. Have you ever watched the movie Norbit? Where they're out on the playground, little skinny Norbit is out on the playground, and this girl comes up and she says, "You got a girlfriend?" And he said, "No." And she said, "Well, you do now." That's Big Daddy's version of how we started dating. He'll tell that to people. He'll say, "Well, she said, do you have a girlfriend?" I said, "No." And she said, "You do now." That is not how it happened, but that's what he likes to tell. That's his version of how we started dating. Actually, we both worked at Walmart. I worked in the snack bar. He came and ate lunch up there every day. When I seen him coming, I would go ahead and fix his barbecue sandwich. And we would chat just a little bit. And then if I didn't have a line, like when he went and sat down out in the booth and would be eating, if I didn't have a line, I'd go out there and clean tables close to him. And we would chat and talk and just kind of get to know each other a little bit. And then there was a lady who went to church with him, and so she asked me, she's like, what's up with y'all? Y'all what's going on? And so I told her, that I thought he was a nice guy. And he was always, very nice and very pleasant and all that. And she was like, I go to church with him. And I was like, oh, okay. So she goes and tells him that what I said about him. She was older than us. She was just meddling. And she went and told him what I said about him. And then, so one day he came up and he was eating and we were chatting and all. And he's like, you want to go to church with me? And so I was like, what? He's like, you want to go to church with me? And so I said, okay, I can. And so I went to church with him. Met him up at his church. We went to church and then we left there and went to Pizza Inn and ate pizza and talked for a while. Then we went back to the church parking lot and sat and talked for hours, and the rest is history. But that was our first date, and that's how we ended up going out. So, and then someone asked, was Big Daddy raised Pentecostal or something? Now, I don't know what gave that away, but I've said that plenty of times on here. He was raised Pentecost, First United Pentecost of the Twin Cities. And I was raised Assembly of God. And so while we were dating, we took turns going to each other's church. We actually got married at the Pentecost church because it was a much bigger church. So we got married at the Pentecost church. And, but yes, he not only was raised in the Pentecost church, he was raised in the Pentecost school too. So his, him and his brothers, it was 4 of them, they all went to the Twin City Academy. It was a Pentecost school at their church. So yeah, he was raised Pentecost school and church. And God knew what he was doing when he put us together. I can say that. Okay, let's see. Someone asked, have I ever thought about writing a book? It's come up a couple of times, and I've never, put forth any kind of effort to that. I'm just like, yeah, right, one day, maybe. And it'll probably never happen. But Big Daddy's actually the writer. He writes short stories, and I edit them. And sometimes I change it all around to make it make sense. But anyway, he's the writer. He's been writing some story about the magic carpet. I don't even know what it's about. It's 37 pages long, and he asked me if I wanted to read it, and I was like, oh my gosh, how do I say no without sounding ugly? He's like, you don't want to read it, do you? And I was like, oh, no. I told him, I wouldn't be able to stay focused to read it. I couldn't. So he just finished that story, like, this week, and was trying to ask me if I wanted to read it. Unfortunately, no. I hate to be that way, but I really cannot focus long enough to read a story like that anymore. Alright, somebody said, are crawfish and crawdads the same thing? Yeah, some people call them crawdads, but most people call them crawfish. But yeah, they're the same thing. Oh, yes, I would have liked, and I probably still will look it up on YouTube or whatever, but I do want to hear Reba singing the national anthem for the Super Bowl. I didn't, watch it or anything, so I missed that, but I know I can find it on, YouTube, so that's my plan. I planned on doing that today, looking that up, but, I just never did take the time to do it. I was busy doing other stuff, like crocheting. And then, yes, I do read crochet patterns. I don't know, that came easy to me. I don't know why, but it did. And I just picked that up right away reading the crochet patterns. Alligator, crocodile. What's the difference? An alligator is freshwater and a crocodile is saltwater. Like they have crocodiles in Florida where there's going to be salt water. But here we have alligators because we have fresh water and not salt water. Phoebe riding in the car. She has rode in the car some. But, and I take a pillow and put it in my lap and she lays on that pillow riding in the car. But we don't really take her places with us because in the summertime, you know, most places aren't going to let a dog in. They're not dog friendly. Maybe for a service dog, but not for a spoiled dog. There's no signs on doors saying spoiled dogs welcome here. But in Louisiana, it's too hot to leave a dog in the car. Way too hot. I mean, you could not leave a dog in the car in Louisiana. Maybe, you know, somewhere up north where it's not so hot and humid, you might could, but here, no way. So I really just don't want her to get in that habit. Because I used to have a dog that loved to go get McDonald's, and she thought anytime we got in the car, she was supposed to go to get McDonald's. And so, you know, I don't want Phoebe really expecting to go get in the car. Let's see. Yes. The mind says, somebody typed this out. The mind says, I'm going to do this, and the body says, no, you're not. That is so true, isn't it? Yes, it is. Like in my mind, I can still do all the things. And in my mind, I still want to do all the things. And I'll say, a lot of times, I'll say, yeah, I'll do that. Or I want to go and do this. And then later I'm like, how am I going to do that? Like, I forget my limitations all the time. I forget that my body works against me. And I'll think I'm going to do something, and I'm like, how am I going to do that? That's not going to work. So my mind is still young, but my body is just failing, okay? It's the way it is. Somebody did ask about Katrina. Did Katrina reach us? No, it did not. And that was such a devastating time for Louisiana. It did not reach us, but we did have busloads and busloads of people coming in from New Orleans. And I did watch that every day on TV, the Weather Channel or whatever we had back then. I did watch that every day. It was just so unbelievable. And to see places like, you know, you had been, like, I've been to the Superdome and watched football games many times. I know I said I wasn't into football, and I'm not. Only reason why I went to the Superdome is because my brother was playing in the band. His high school went to the Superdome to play playoffs, and he was in the band. And so that's the only reason why I went. I wasn't there for the football. I was there for the band. Anyway, yeah, I've been to the Superdome, you know, several times. And to see that on TV, the way it looked and what all was happening and going on there, it was just like crazy. Crazy, unbelievable. Like, that was just so messed up in so many ways. But anyway, guys, I do appreciate you all hanging out with me. I know this has been a really long video, and if you made it to the end, get yourself an extra cookie. I don't know. I appreciate you all so very, very much. Y'all are the best. You really are. And so, I'll be back Tuesday. This is Monday's video, even though it's really late Monday night. But I will be back Tuesday night, really late, leaving you another video. And as I work on this duck blanket that I'm making, as I work on it some, I'm going to do a video on that here and there. Probably one while I'm putting that face on, and I want to put that face on it before it gets too big. So that'll be soonish. But yeah, I'll have some more videos thrown in here and there throughout the month, the rest of the month. But I'll be back working on this blanket because it's got to grow, and it ain't going to grow if I don't work on it. But remember, guys, it's a beautiful day to crochet. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next video, friends. Bye, guys.